Hey guys, my name is Andy. In this video we will be starting a new series where we are reviewing Adventure Time episodes. I do want to give some quick praise to Uncivilized Elk as he also reviews Adventure Time episodes, but does it really well. Like, he is very admirable in that sense. So go check him out if you have yet to hear of him, and let's proceed. The Adventure Time episode we'll be focusing on today is Season 1, Episode 1, Slumber Party Panic. Slumber Party Panic is not a bad episode. It has a few bumps in the road, but as we go through the episode, I will address those as they come. Now, what I'm about to say as an issue is pretty minor, but just try understanding my perspective. We can all agree that Bubblegum is portrayed as this scientific perfectionist, or at least she's attempting to be. But what I don't understand is why is she not acting upon her citizens exploding from fear? Did she attempt to act upon this at one point but failed? Is she worried that if she does attempt to act upon this, it'll only cause more fear? Or just catastrophic events? I don't know. It wasn't mentioned, but because this is the first episode in the season, and the show entirely, I'm gonna let it slide. The type of promise that Finn is bounded to is known as a royal promise. I don't know if such things actually exist in real life, but if somebody knows, point it out in the comments, please. After he made the promise, he returns to the Candy citizens and Jake at the front part of the castle. And Jake is curious to know what they were talking about behind the doors. Now, Finn doesn't know what to say. In fact, he's trying so dang hard to play it off, but he's doing such a bad job you can almost feel bad for him. Jake is getting agitated, Finn is getting nervous. Not a good combination. As that's occurring, some of the zombies are heading toward the castle. Finn catches them through the window and is trying to distract the citizens some more. This is where I have an opportunity to point out another flaw. Okay, so it's clear that the zombies are wanting sugar. My nitpick with this, now this is still kind of minor, as it's an early episode, so I don't expect super high quality first thing. But if they're so hungry for sugar, why are they just not stopping at the houses or whatnot? The entire kingdom has to be made out of sugar and whatnot. It's like a giant treat. So I'm surprised why they're just going for people and not so much the buildings themselves. Again, very minor, but it's something worth pointing out. Anyway, I don't want to get too off topic. Finn has to improvise. After boarding up the windows, he has to think of another diversion. Maybe playing Smash the Pinata might be a good idea. That's what goes through his mind. So you know what he does? He lets the zombies in. And you know what he does after? He gives the little candy people things to break open the zombies. I don't know how you are to take this, but for what type of age demographic they were probably going for at the time, with an episode as innocent as that, it almost makes it seem like that was slightly mature. Ultra minor nitpick, because they had no idea where the series would go, but still an interesting perspective at least. After the whole pinata bit is over and done with, Finn opens his big mouth because he thinks it's safe to mention it. However, everything freezes, except Bubblegum. Now, I'm not sure if this was really intentional or thought of, but my guess to this is because Bubblegum was involved in a royal promise, so I'm assuming that she would be unfrozen anyway. But what I wonder is, if Bubblegum broke a royal promise, to Finn rather, would the same thing happen but just in reverse? Nothing big, but just a question. It doesn't take Bubblegum more than 2 seconds to figure out what happened, and she's not too pleased with Finn at all for breaking the promise. But before she can express herself too much, the Gumball Guardians yank them right from the castle. Finn is to be executed unless he could figure out a math question. Now, this is not even a nitpick rather, but just kind of a question. I'm kind of curious to know why it's specifically a math question rather than related to science that Bubblegum is known for. I'm fully aware that math and science correlate pretty deeply, but it's still kind of a question that I'd scratch my head and ask, how come this happened as opposed to this? Nothing wrong with it, though. It's totally understandable. Now, the math question that is displayed is ridiculous. It's even invalid. Probably. Maybe. I'm not entirely sure, as though math is something I'm decent at. I am not a professional. And I'm wondering if a professional would understand that if it is valid, given by just how messy it looks. Despite if that question's invalid or not, Bubblegum is concerned about it and asks the Gumball Guardians if there's another way. Now, to me, this seems kind of weird. Another way would be to do something completely different. But what they do instead is just a very easy math question. So it's not necessarily a different way, rather than a really simplified way. Again, very, very, very minor nitpick, but figured I'd say it anyway, as this is a review. I don't want to overlook or underlook things. I want to see everything I can. The question that displays instead of that blah, 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 blah thing is now 2 plus 2. And Finn struggles to answer that. Given his age, I'd expect him to know what 2 plus 2 is, regardless of math is not something he's too good at. He should have known his numerals as a young child, but regardless, he figures it out and everything restores to normal. The episode ends on a very questionable way, I'd say, but that's my opinion solely. Anyway, the number that Bubblegum needed was 4. But 4 for what? She said the number 4 is what she needed to perfect her serum. However, what is 4 gonna do? She was claiming that she's too smart to see it, but to me that's kind of odd, because in order to understand the hard stuff, you gotta kind of start somewhere. So, if you can do very difficult stuff like she can, you'd have to get that from somewhere, and that starts with the most basic steps. So, to claim that you were too smart for something is really weird. I mean, there is overthinking things, but she phrased that kind of poorly, to be honest. As a conclusion, she revives everything, and everyone is okay. And that was my review on Slumber Party Panic. In short, rushed at times, and sometimes questionable, but ultimately a good episode that started off a magnificent series. Thank you for taking time to watch my review. I'll see you in Season 1, Episode 2, Trouble in Lumpy Space.